Oh, World Tank Blitzers, it's a Littlefinger. Happy Friday, September 24th. And yes, you know the drill. Time for another store review. And I'm actually coming to you today from my EU account, which you can see here. Yeah, we don't have very many tanks down here, only about 300 battles. But it does allow me to point out the fact that getting a lot of pop-up offers on accounts that aren't played frequently. As you can see, I've got this 25x boosters for only $1, which is not a bad deal for 25x boosters. However, I am not a proponent of spending money on boosters, but I did want to just point out that, just using those boosters, I tried this on an account. I went from Tiger 1 to Tiger 2, that's tier 7 to tier 8 in 10 battles. Being able to get enough XP to unlock a tier 8 tank, 7 wins in 10 battles, and that really cuts down on the grind of the tech tree tanks. So I just wanted to point that out, that if you're going to spend money on any booster, my recommendation would be on the 5x boosters. However, I'm more of a proponent of always having premium time, which I don't here, and just grinding it out the old-fashioned way. But let's jump into the store, which is a little convoluted because it has stuff located in several different places. The first thing I want to talk about is this 10 victories order. You can see it says free. So when you go ahead and claim it, you will then be needing to win, I believe it's 10 battles, and then you will get 3 days of premium time and a crate to open. So nice little free little gift here from Blitz. The other thing here that I want to talk about is the subscription to gold and XP, and they've increased this. This was 250, now it's 300. Makes this deal even better, and this is one of the best deals in the game. The only caveat to it is that you must check in daily to claim this. If you don't, you miss it. But 9,000 gold for 10 bucks, 900 gold per dollar, as we talk about. Double the 350 is 700 is where we've been saying is a good deal. So this is 900 plus. You're going to get 45,000 in free XP. So guys, if you're a daily player, this is a good deal to get. Let's see. Still got premium pass, but again, that's going to show up in other places here. So what I'm going to go talk about is the tanks, and there's not a lot here to talk about. I was for a long time saying, it's not a bad deal to buy these lower tier tanks, like the PZ B2 here, which I'm not 100% certain, but I think might get preferential matchmaking, which means you're always top tier. But it's a slow tank with decent armor, with not a great gun. But what I was saying was that every week we see this with a tier 3 or tier 4 in this case tank that you can then sell for gold. It sells for 1,500 gold. Which, not a great deal here for this, primarily because you're getting 14 days of premium and collect them all, which I believe only has a 10% drop chance of a tank. But to my point, I have found on my main account, which has a significant number of battles, I cannot get into a tier 3 or tier 4 battle anymore. I have to wait 15 minutes in queue for that to happen, which is making it difficult for me to get aces in those tanks that I still have not. We've got a bundle here, which is not a bad price for these two tanks, the ISU 122S and the SU 122-44. My downside here is that these are both TDs, both pretty similar playstyles. You can be certainly more aggressive in the SU 122-44 because of this wonderful sloped armor that will troll a lot of people. The ISU 122S is a fun tank as well. Premium shells that do more damage and have less pen. So while this is a good price, you're getting two very similar tanks, which I am not a fan of. But as I said before, My preference, if you had to choose one or the other, would be the ISG 122S. And then as we move on down here, you can see they've taken out a lot of the premium tanks that had been for sale. In general, we are now left with the IS-6, the T-23, E-3, the Dicker Max, T-14. Oh, that's got 3 here. That's interesting. I hadn't noticed this before. So this revolves. I guess you got to get your timing just right, or you could potentially maybe buy the wrong tank. I don't know. T-14 here. That's kind of interesting. So we've got 2 of those. The Churchill 3 and what was the last one there? Excelsior. Yeah. Okay. So interesting. So there are more tanks here than I thought. You've got the Matilda 4, but none of these are great tanks, guys. Obviously, the IS-6 is pretty legendary. Does get some troll bounces, but that's a high price to pay for this tank, which you should be able to pick up these days for 5,000 or 6,000 gold, just because it's been around for quite some time. T-23 E3. I wouldn't spend that much gold for it, just because we've seen it for much, much less, and it's often a tank that's given away for free by Wargaming in different events. So moving on, gold is still 2 times. My understanding from what I've heard from subscribers, I haven't bought any gold, so I don't know this to be true, is that once you've purchased this, then it doesn't come back as 2 times the gold. But let's face it, guys, it's a great way to get most money out of your game. And like I said, my recommendation is get your gold, buy your premium time, and grind your tanks. Here is your free containers, and we've got surprise containers, right? Okay, so 20,000 gold here is a lot of gold to be giving up for gambling, essentially, right? 15,000 gold is typically where we see a guaranteed tier 10 tank. So just keep that in mind here. And if we've got 21 containers, and each one of these has a different drop chance. We can see it here. Most of these are 5%. Looks like all of them are 5%. I thought some of them were less, but anyway, the shark here, 3% drop chance. So I don't know why it shows up in the list as 5%. But let's see here. If we put this at 21% on a dice that only has 10 sides, that's an 89% chance of getting a tank, okay, with 21. So you're really gambling here that there's a slim chance that you may not come away with a tank. Now, for 2 tanks, you've still got a 63% chance you may get 2 tanks out of this. But again, this could be a tier 7. It could be a tier 8. So in which case, you're really gambling. You're not guaranteeing yourself of a tank that you want. So my recommendation is just to hold off, wait till, especially now we're getting into October, November, December. There's always the auction and a lot of stuff for sale for the holiday events. So, I would say hold off and, yeah, wait for a guaranteed tank, guys. I think that's a much better idea. So I think I talked about this last week with 14 Object 907 containers, and I just want to see. This has a 5% drop chance, which would mean a dice with 20 face. That's a 51% chance of getting the tank. So you're going to drop 90 bucks and only have a 50% chance of getting a tank. The not Object 907 is super expensive right now. So TD Invasion, I think this was, well, it's just all TDs. I thought it was, they had the British one a while ago. But anyway, again, 10% drop chance. Don't know which tank you're going to get. If you're going to get tanks, get crates, go with the lucky containers, because at least then you're guaranteed to get a tank. And if you sit somewhere where you've got a mediocre amount of premium tanks, there's a chance with the lucky lower 5 and 6 and whatnot that you pull a tank that you already have, in which case then you'll get a crate for the next tier up. So, and you can get into the tier 9 and tier 10s. So that right there is the store review. I know we have the clan challenge going on here for the 50 TP, and I want to do a video next just talking about how to best set yourself up to get a Brothers in Arms medal. But I'll do a separate video for that as we are starting to run on a little bit long here for a rather weak store. After having so many great tanks with the Sharks and the Defenders, we're not left with much right now. So uh, we will see, guys. Have fun weekend, and of course, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.